For recruiters, I think the biggest challenge right now, I mean, it's an exciting thing and it's a huge tool. The balance of time of using LinkedIn and recruiting is definitely a challenge. So, you know, for those HR leaders in the room that have HR, you know, recruiters under them, something to keep in mind is that that's the big question out there. You know we need to be using LinkedIn. We know we need to source and find the right candidates. What's too much? What's not enough? Jobs are still being posted. Resumes are still coming in. Screening still needs to happen. Interviewing, working with hiring managers, and that takes time. So a lot of companies are either bringing someone else on board just to focus on LinkedIn and spend their time really digging and sourcing and pre-screening so that by the time a recruiter has the resume, they're able to really, you know, focus on their niche area and screen them and interview them and keep the process moving. So, you know, or they have, you know, multiple recruiters that split their time. I don't think there's an answer yet out there for that. I think it's too new of a tool, but it's certainly something to be mindful of. There's a great ROI on it, but it does take time away from someone's desk. Actually, HR Council, what Dave was talking about earlier, we did a social media event earlier this year, and we had Jeff Moore from Google there, and he mentioned that they're actually required to use 20% of their day only using social networking. It's actually a requirement of their job because the company realizes how important it is to continue to focus on that. So just something to keep in mind. I haven't used Twitter and Facebook as much, but I will say just a couple of highlights there. I always thought that Facebook would not be a successful tool, and one day last year I had a search that I had used LinkedIn. I had, you know, looked at our database, I'd networked with people, and I really was coming up short. And I think out of pure frustration, I think I put a post on Facebook. You know, I never knew it was so hard to find XYZ. And I actually got 3 people that responded to me. And, you know, one was a childhood friend that was a teacher who I never would have networked with that said, my cousin lives in Boston, that's exactly what they do. And I just sat there thinking, why didn't I do this earlier? And so, you know, I'm starting to get more acclimated with that, but, you know, I think it's important not to make any assumptions about some of these sites. Again, you never know who people know. You know, the downfall is I also had a lot of, you know, maybe old friends that said, oh, I've been looking for a job for a year, I think I can do that. And, you know, so you have to take with the good with the bad. But just a reminder that, you know, Facebook, if used the right way, can also be a great tool. There's a lot of user groups, there's a lot of search engines on there. And, you know, once again, you never know who people know, and people look at everyone's updates. So if you're ever, you know, really looking for something that you're having a hard time for, just post it out there for 5 hours and see what happens. Same with Twitter. I found with my experience that Twitter has been much more successful with technical roles. And I don't know if that's maybe because the initial population that used it tends to be very technically inclined. But if I have a role that has a technical aspect, you know, in my specific case, it would be a tech recruiter, software recruiter, even an HRIS analyst or something of that nature. If I post something on Twitter, you know, I didn't even have that many followers, and you know, once again, I was having a difficult time with a software application, you know, development recruiter in New York City. I posted it, and literally 15 minutes later, I had someone's email in my inbox out of a direct competitor that, I mean, we had scoured LinkedIn and Monster and did not find this person. I don't know how she found me. I don't know how she even got my email because it wasn't on my Twitter page, but she was savvy enough, and within probably 45 minutes to an hour, we had this candidate screened and on its way over to the client. So it was just pretty crazy how quickly that happened. I've tried it for non-technical roles, and I haven't had as much luck. So I do think, you know, once again, you have to use certain sites for certain things, and you know, it's not going to be the answer to everything, but something to certainly keep in mind. One other thing that I think, you know, whether you, you know, regardless of the type of organization you're in, something I know that Winter Weinman is currently doing is taking a look at our website, and companies are certainly becoming more interactive. A lot of the clients that I work with are hiring a lot more of that interactive marketing focus. Marketing's becoming more technical, and even Winter Wyman, we're redoing certain aspects of our webpage. It's going to be more interactive. We're going to have our own profiles, and it's this whole wave of the future to be more technically savvy, but also have that personal touch, which I think is a valid concern, and I think that's why people are really trying to make it a little bit more, videos on what we do, message from the CEO talking about the mission statement, and again, different profiles of the people that make up the organization. And I share that because that's something that you could do as well. If people are interviewing for your company, or if you have prospective customers out there, the more personal you can get, the better. So if they can take a look at your organization and learn a little bit more about you, they might be more inclined to send their resume there or want to interview with you. And remembering that it's very competitive out there. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people still looking for opportunities, and the market is turning, but it's also very competitive in certain areas, and everyone's looking for the same profile, and the companies that are the most successful are the ones that are, using the social media, that are, up to date with that. They're attracting the millennials because of the fact that they're up to date with that, and they're really finding the right talent. So hopefully that helps. Thank you.